Hi, everyone. I am here today with Greg Hartmansauter. He is a student at Oswego studying art, and he's a close friend of mine who I grew up with. And today we'll be looking at some of his artwork and discussing how his journey has progressed with the art.
Yeah, thanks. Happy to be here.
I'm glad. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here we are with Greg. And this is one of your pieces that you were telling me you worked on this past semester, right?
Yeah, this was I think I worked on it in February mostly. Um, I think I finished it in February.
And it's a self-portrait, correct?
Mhm. It is. Yeah,
Very,
it was for my intro to illustration class. The first assignment we had to make a self-portrait.
very nice,
However, we interpreted that.
very nice.
Mhm.
So as we go through, I'm just gonna ask you some questions. So, like, what got you interested in art and painting?
Well, I've always been creative. Um just I think it started when I was a little kid, just doing it for fun. And then I sort of experimented with a bunch of different creative creative forms of expression. And when I was a senior in high school, I started thinking about careers and what was practical and also something um, that wanted to do that I would actually enjoy. And then I started thinking about being an art teacher. I thought that it would be a good combination of a lot of my skills with communication and the creativity. So I decided to pursue art seriously then, um, because if I'm if I'm a good artist, that will help me be a better teacher, and vice versa. So that's sort of what led me there after a lot of like experimentation when I was younger.
Nice. That's great. So as you are an artist, is there something that motivates or inspires you? Any specific artists?
Specific artists. Um, I was really inspired by Van Gogh early on. He was a really early painting inspiration. I mean, he's very famous, but I think he's famous for a reason. Like the work is very striking, very expressive, and I really liked the way he painted, and um, that got me into art early on. Um, I like a lot of surrealist stuff. I like sort of the imaginative nature of it.
Mm,
Um, and yeah, I like art with a strong sense of like design, a lot of pattern. Not any particular artists come to mind, but that's sort of what I'm attracted to right now. So
nice. So I have to ask, um, how has school influenced your artwork, in your opinion?
um I think the biggest thing is that it's given me a lot of space and time to really flesh out projects and really learn how to work effectively, but also be creative and inspired and all that. And I think it's also given me a space to meet other people who are like minded, um, and in that environment, you get better at defending your artistic choices. You get more clarity about like what you're doing as an artist in relationship to other artists around you that are your same age, etc. So I think that's been the biggest benefit to going to art school instead of just doing it on my own. Like there's that social element with the creativity that's really beneficial, and there's also the academic component where I get more clarity about what I'm doing,
Mm,
that in a way that I can actually explain to other people. So
Nice.
Mhm.
So, okay. I did want to talk about one of your pieces that I know you did. Was this in 2020?
This was 2021 last summer.
Yeah. Ever since seeing it, I have always loved the detail and just that these are some of your family members, correct?
Yeah, that's my dad and my sister.
So, is it photos that you take in nature, or what do you use to make your art?
Um, do you want me to talk about this specifically, or?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, yeah. So, this photo was taken at the foot of Furnace Mountain, like the title says. Furnace Mountain is a mountain in the Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, where my dad grew up. So this picture was taken last summer when we were visiting family there, and my sister and my dad and I we took a hike up this mountain that my dad used to go up a lot when he was a teenager. Um, and there's this creek at the bottom, which is really nice. And I was just taking pictures of the event and whatever, you know. And I snapped this one, and I really like the composition. The original photo has less saturation in it. Like I edited it a little bit, but that was the uh, that was the main backstory behind it. So there's a little like family history attached to it, which makes it more personal than just like a standard portrait of them.
Mhm.
And for this one specifically, I took the photo and then I went into a digital art app called Procreate on
Hmm.
my iPad, and I just drew it there. So I pretty much just copied the photo as close as I could, um, and that's one approach to making representational art is to just copy the photo and all that, and it's up to the artist individually, how detailed they want to make it, or how close to the photo they want to make the final piece. So yeah,
Yeah, this looks great.
thank you. Yeah, yeah,
I
that took a while.
How long on average does it take you to do art pieces, speaking of?
Um, yeah, it really depends. Usually in school, you get a couple weeks to a month on one project, and
Wow.
if you work on it consistently, it's not like you work all day every day on one piece, but usually between 20 and 40 hours
Well,
on one, yeah. But it really depends. Sometimes you can finish one in like 8 hours or even less than that. Um, and then sometimes there's big projects that I especially wanted to do a really good job on and be really thorough with. So sometimes that would be 40, 50 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how long did this one take specifically at the foot of Furnace Mountain?
I believe this took me 30. I don't really remember. Um, it was a while. This one was one of the longer ones for sure. Um, at least at that time last year. Yeah,
Yeah, the detailing and everything is beautiful, and the water just looks really lifelike. I
yeah,
remember.
lot
Oh,
of layering. That's
okay.
mainly what took a lot of time. To develop all the texture and the um, all the intricacies of the water. It was just a lot of revising, which is what was the most time consuming thing.
Wow.
Yeah. The more detail you add, the more time it takes. That's generally how it works. So,
Gotcha. Well, moving on to some other work that you have from school,
mhm.
um, I did want to talk about some of these pieces. And did art school introduce you to new forms of art that you were not familiar with or that you hadn't worked with before?
Yeah, I think I was pretty familiar with a lot of different types of art, with all the different styles of painting and drawing and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, with with my 3D and sculpture classes, I really learned a lot of new things though, because I hadn't really worked in 3D that much in high school. You see that fingerprint at the top there?
Yeah.
That was a I think it was a resin casting of my thumbprint, and I learned how to work with resin. So you made a mold out of clay, and then or yeah, yeah, you made a mold out of clay, and then you cast the mold. I believe that's the right terminology, and then you use resin to finish it off, and you get the original clay shape just made out of resin, and that was really cool. That was a much more technical process than I was used to.
Mm,
It was closer to like a trade or something.
okay.
Um, but that was really fun to do. In the top right, I worked with balsa wood to make a relief, and that was a really fun project.
What is
Um,
balsa wood, if you don't mind me asking?
Balsa wood's a very soft type of wood that you can cut with an X-Acto knife.
Oh, wow.
So I used, yeah, so I used balsa wood and glue to make all those pieces and assemble them. And that was really cool. I never worked with balsa wood before, and I haven't worked with it since, but I really liked it. So I might go back one
Nice.
day. So yeah, mainly it was the mediums that I was working in that um, really made art school like a new experience for me. I hadn't done oil painting either before art school. I had only done acrylic painting. So um, that deer painting is acrylic, but
Oh.
the master copy portrait, which is the one above that, the woman in the green dress, that was an oil
Mhm.
paint.
Wow.
The goat painting is an oil painting, and then there's a bunch of digital stuff in here. On the bottom right, there's that um, Benjamin Franklin bridge that was acrylic. So I hadn't done oil paint, but I had some painting experience, so it sort of carried over. It's not like I was totally starting from scratch.
Now, what is resin that you were mentioning in the fingerprint? And I know that also the monkey, I believe, is also like a 3D half painting, half 3D
Mm,
thing.
yeah, resin is it's like a plastic substance. You buy it in these tubs, and it's sort of liquid, um, but it has a little bit of viscosity to it. And then you mix it together, and then you have to pour it in a very specific amount of time, and then it dries, like it
Oh,
hardens. So it's really good for making molds and stuff. I don't have a ton of experience with it. That was the only time I've used it, but you can do a lot of stuff with it. And then for the mandrill, that was a mandrill um, piece. I used a fired clay. So
mm.
it's this clay that you mold. You get it and it's soft, and you can, you know, sculpt it, but then you put it in the oven for, I think it was like less than an hour, and then it dried. So I put um, metal um, metal wires in for the whiskers, and I put the wires in while the clay was still soft, and then I put it in the oven to solidify it. So yeah, that
Wow.
was really cool. That was a fun project. I'm thinking about incorporating more 3D elements into paintings in the future, like
Mhm.
sort of having like a hybrid like 2D 3D thing going on. I think that'd
That
be really cool. So
I think that's really interesting. I really liked seeing this, that at first it looked just like a painting, very striking, and then all of a sudden you have the side profile and it's like it's jumping out of the painting.
yeah, thanks. Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of potential there.
yeah. How did you get the coloring of like the exact teeth and the gums and it to
I
look
had a reference photo for that. I think it was just a Google reference photo, but I mean it looks a little different than the photo. But yeah, I mean mandrills have these really big red noses, and I was doing a series of paintings where the color red was featured like symbolically or just for its own sake. So that's why I picked it. originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the teeth and gums, those are just like flesh colors, bone colors. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
pretty straightforward.
Gotcha.
Mm.
Um, well, I think that's about all I have questions on. So thank you so much
Mhm.
for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much.
Yeah.